Well, over the past few days, we've seen a record number of illegal migrants pouring across the border into the United States as well as into Europe. Mayors declaring states of emergency in Texas. We're seeing states of emergency basically being declared in parts of Europe as well. Entire towns being inundated with illegal migrants. You have a population in a particular town of 8,000 people, and you have the illegal migrants coming in that are tripling that amount of people, completely taking over local governments. Journalist Michael Yon is back in Panama. He's been in the jungles near the Darien Gap watching as thousands of illegal migrants have been pouring into that area on their way up into the United States. And Michael joins us now. Michael, last night, I know you tweeted out video, drone footage, it looked like, of buses just in the middle of the night, just trucking as many people as possible towards the United States, right?
That's true. In fact, that was on this road right here, Clayton. Down this road about 200 or 300 yards, I guess about 250, is San Vicente Camp. This is the camp that Mayorkas came down to, Secretary of Homeland Security. He landed in a helicopter right over here. There's a little airstrip. He came in his security vehicles down this road. I waited for him, and he went in that camp. We have more than doubled the size of that camp. So the video that you saw from last night, the drone footage, is most of the Chinese stay in this camp, by the way. So the most of the Chinese don't go to the big slum camp, you might call it, where there's a lot more people in Lajas Blancas. This is San Vicente here. But the Chinese have more money and they come here. A lot of them have been staying in this hotel, Tenose. But now they seem to realize Tenose is dangerous. People come here and interview them, get information from them. So I haven't seen anybody stay here in the last 10 days or so.
Can you describe like the numbers that you're seeing right now, Michael? Because we're seeing states of emergency being declared in Texas, and we're seeing trains of people now. Footage is emerging, of course, of people on trains. How many are you seeing a massive influx where you are in Panama?
As predicted, the Panamanian government said last month, 82,000 last month. This month, that number surely will be higher. So that's 82. I'm going to show you a key intersection up here.
82,000
last month.
Holy smokes.
Many of them came on this road right here from that camp. But this intersection I'm going to show you is a key intersection. This is where I'll guarantee you next year there'll be 1 million people across this intersection right here to the United States from 140 countries. This is the intersection of San Vicente Camp and Highway 1. This is Highway 1. This goes to the United States. This is the Pan Am Highway, the Pan American Highway. That way is the United States. That way is Colombia, but it ends at a town called Yavitsa. Right? So there's another huge camp down there called Lajas Blancas. It's a massive camp, and I spend a lot of time in Lajas Blancas. Those buses come right here down this road, and they'll often meet right here and go in convoys up to the United States. So this is it. This is your key intersection where everybody going to the United States from Darien Gap, almost everybody, say 99%, will cross this line to the United States. That's it.
And this is all part of a plan. I mean, I think a lot of people are really starting to wake up. You're starting to see, in fact, some mainstream media coverage of this now, because when you're seeing a coordinated invasion happening in Europe, happening in Italy, happening in the United States, and this isn't just, these aren't Mexicans. I mean, they're coming from all over. We're seeing, Haiti to Brazil, Nigeria, the flood of Chinese. These are not Mexicans, right? I mean, these are people coming from all over the world, yeah. and it appears to be entirely coordinated.
Oh, hugely coordinated. The United States, I want to say it again, Mayorkas came right here to this camp, San Vicente. We built this camp. The United States built this camp. The United States is expanding this camp. There's another camp out in the jungle now. We just call it New Camp. We were just out there the other day. A bunch of Imbra Indians, let's say for argument's sake, 120 of them, were with their machetes cutting it down. So this new camp, there's so many people coming through now that they're actually starting a new camp. Everything is much more efficient. In the past, even just months ago, there goes Red Cross, the human smugglers themselves. Anyway, Red Cross, I used to think they were good guys. They're clearly not. So the Red Cross is, and so this camp, they used to line up, the buses used to line up right here, right? And they would all line up. Now they just burst through. As soon as they load up, just imagine all the airplanes at Atlanta airport lining up and taking off at once. That's the way it used to be. Now they fill them up. They only line up with 2 or 3, and they only stay here for, like a minute or two. They used to stay here 20 or 30 minutes. Everybody would line up. They go in. They're making it more efficient. So the path from Colombia now is shorter. It's safer. It's still extremely dangerous. Dozens will die today. Every day, dozens of people die out there. So the path is shorter. It is safer. Still very dangerous. Here comes a bus right now, actually.
Okay, so this is a bus of... Where is this bus? And this bus is on its way to the United States.
Yeah, it's on the way to Costa Rican border. And we'll get up. Yeah, we'll get over here. It's on the way to the Costa Rican border. They'll drop. That's another thing that's become efficient. Ben Berkwam and Oscar Blue and Matt saw stuff at the Costa Rican border. And now they're just passing right through. They don't even show their passports anymore. The migrants are just walking through. The tourists are still lining up for their passport. That's going to Las Blancas camp. So they would have just dumped people off, almost totally Chinese. And now they're going to go back to Las Blancas camp. So that's in the direction of Las Blancas camp, right? If they were full, they would go that direction.
So they're going back.
They would go to Costa Rica.
So they're going back now to fill up. And again, who's paying for these buses?
Well, the migrants will pay $40 per head, right? But who paid for these? You see, that's a luxury bus. There's at least 60 of them now, minimum 60, because we know about 60 per day are going. So, and it's about a 24-hour turnaround per bus. So there has to be at least 60 buses, but that doesn't account for maintenance. So it's got to be some number greater than 60, actually.
Wow.
So, I mean, it takes 10 or 12 hours to get to Costa Rica to here, and then you got to get back, reload, and go back.
We've seen, of course, numbers increasing over the past few weeks. It seems, again, really astonishing. And we covered here on the show a couple of months ago, flying in a helicopter over the colonias in Texas, showing off these large villages, these large neighborhoods that have been constructed using American taxpayer dollars to basically build entire subdivisions for illegal immigrants. Then the Daily Wire over the past few days has also started to cover this story. Spencer Lindquist from the Daily Wire. So you were covering it a couple of months ago on our show. Now it seems to be getting more awareness about these massive colonias in Texas that I think most Americans don't even realize that taxpayers are paying
Spencer,
for these big neighborhoods. Go ahead.
Yeah, well, Spencer's covering it because I reached out to him. I'm doing force multiplication. I've taken a lot of journalists out here. Ann Vandersteel's over here right now. I've taken a lot of journalists out here, Oscar Blue, Ben Berkwam. A lot of the people you see covering this now are because I'm doing force multiplication. And every SF guy out there knows what I'm talking about. So I'm taking people out here and I'm showing them the ropes. I arranged a helicopter for Daily Wire, right? I'm the one that got Spencer out there. It's very important. I vetted him first. He's a good guy. He's super smart. Got him out there, and look what he's doing. He is smashing that colonial. He is smashing Governor Abbott, right? Good job, Spencer. Very good job. Now I want Spencer to come down here. I'll make it happen, right? And anybody that's deadly serious, you got to be super serious. I'll take you out here, but you got to be very serious. It's dangerous.
Well, when we covered that story initially a couple of months ago, and we featured it here when we had you on to break that story of the Colonia here on Redacted, so many people were watching it saying, I can't believe it. This seems like it's fake news. This can't be happening in the United States, that the Texas government, the United States government, would allow entire subdivisions to be built for illegal immigrants, where we're giving them benefits, we're giving them a home. How is this happening?
Yeah, it's because it's all organized. This is the World Economic Forum, the Chinese Communist Party, and others. They are not hiding what they're doing. This is an old formula. They're saying what they're doing. We're seeing what they're doing. And all these indigenous people that are being destroyed. Now, for the people I bring down here, it's kind of new to them. But for me, I see the same thing in Myanmar. I see the same thing in different parts of the world. For instance, Pashtuns reaching out to me all the time from Pakistan. They're telling me what the Chinese are doing to them there. And same like when I'm out with the indigenous people in Myanmar, it's the same thing everywhere I go, whether it's Malaysia or Indonesia, it's the same story. The local Indians and indigenous people in different places, they will sell out their own stuff. These trees, well, this used to be primary jungle. Look, it's farmland now. The Indians will sell out their trees and the Chinese and others will buy them. And then the next thing you know, I'm telling you, Clayton, this road is going to open. This road to Colombia is going to open. And it's not in the news. I haven't seen anybody. I was just out drone a new bridge they're building. I just drove it 2 days ago. They're clearly the road to Colombia.
So building a road to Colombia, and Michael, I'll get you out of here on this. When you see what's happening in Italy, when you see what's happening in Europe, do you see similarities here, or is it a totally different scenario? What's happening in Europe, what's happening in the United States, or is it all part of the same plan?
Same players, same game. Often when I leave Panama, I go straight to Netherlands, and I'm off in Germany and Hungary and Austria and all those places, France. I'm looking at the same thing. This is the same game. It's the same rat trap, same cheese everywhere. Netherlands is as key as Panama. Panama is vital terrain in this war. This little spot, this little road is one of the most vital arteries in the world right here, and it goes right across the canal. I'll be up at the Panama. If you take a right on this road, you'll go across the Panama Canal. So you've got two major arteries crossing each other right there, right? And this Panama will be lucky to survive because clearly basically Panama is walking around with pork chops hanging around their neck. This highway and the Panama Canal. And there's a lot of people that want those pork chops. Netherlands is the same way. We can say, look what they're doing to the indigenous people. That's true here. But in Netherlands, the very sophisticated Dutch farmers, they're falling for, not just the farmers, but the Dutch people, they're falling for the same traps that the indigenous people fall for in the jungle. I'm in Netherlands all the time. I mean, Netherlands is falling for the same traps that the Indians in the jungle fall for here. They're going to lose Netherlands.
Well, Michael's on his way to Panama City. We appreciate you hooking up to Starlink and being able to give us some coverage there and showing us what Highway 1 looks like and these massive influx that we're seeing in the Darien Gap. And I just want people to remember, like, Michael is blazing a trail here, leading other journalists and shining a light on one of the darkest stories in the world right now that the mainstream media is ignoring. So, when people were saying, "Oh, that can't be happening," Michael's shining a light on it, and I want to thank you for the incredible work that you're doing, and being able to shine a light here on this show about it. So, thank you, Michael, for everything you're doing down there.
Thank you, Clayton. And warning to Japan, it's coming to Japan. I've written 3 books on information war that are only in Japanese language, and I've written those, over the last 10 years to try to wake up Japan. This is going to come to Japan. I'm telling you.
Well, with the population decline, this is exactly what the United Nations has been warning about with migration, with moving migrants into areas of massive population decline and the birth gap. And of course, Japan is leading the world right now in a population decline and a birth gap. So, we'll keep our eye on Japan. Michael Yon is in Panama. Thank you so much, Michael, for everything you're doing. We appreciate it.
Thank you, sir. See you next time.
Thank you so much for watching this segment here at Redacted. We are live every day at 4 p.m. Eastern Time, trying to share the stories that the mainstream media will not cover. You should also come over and join our community of Redacted Rebels over at redacted.inc. That's our private locals community where we can share exclusive content that we simply cannot share here on YouTube. Come over and join the rebellion together right now by going to redacted.inc. We'll see you next time.